Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, good night to wherever you are in the world. My name is Colin. I'm going to explain to you a tax question from a past paper. So the question states, in the diagram, the imposition of a tax on a commodity causes its supply curve to shift from S1 to S2. Which area measures the resulting deadweight loss? Deadweight loss. Okay. So we know that when there's a tax imposed by a government, the supply curve will shift to the left from S1 to S2, as we see here. S1 to S2. Let's draw this arrow so it's easier to understand. And whenever there's a tax, usually there will be a tax burden on consumers and producers, correct? Yes. And this tax burden is seen through this area here, where the top portion is paid by the consumers and the lower portion is paid by the producers. Okay. For me to tell you, for me to explain what deadweight loss is, I need to tell you the answer first, and then it'll be easier to explain. So deadweight loss in this situation here is actually C, which is JKM. JKM. Okay? This red highlighted portion here. Okay? This is deadweight loss. Okay, let me explain to you. Please take a look on the graph on the left. In a perfectly normal, everything is happy market, right? Producers and consumers agree on an equilibrium point where they should sell at price X for quantity X. If you look here, the producer surplus is huge, right? And the consumer surplus, this is the consumer surplus and this is the producer surplus. It's also really big, a large amount. This is when there's no government intervention. However, as we know, when there's a tax imposed by a government, the supply curve will shift to the left, like so. So it creates a new supply curve, therefore creates a new equilibrium from E1 to E2 here, right? As you see, we mentioned before, there's a tax burden on consumers and producers. So this is the tax burden, okay? And as well as that, if you notice, the consumer surplus and producer surplus is also decreased from a big triangle leading to this like really small triangle like that. That is the new consumer surplus. This is the new producer surplus. You will see a trend. There's this red triangle here. This is deadweight loss. Basically, it's an economic inefficiency done by actions like government intervention or market failure, failure of allocation of resources. So, deadweight loss is basically a measure of economic efficiency when the socially optimal quantity of a good or service is not produced. So, as I mentioned before, in a perfect market, where not perfect, when everything is going good in the market, it was at E1, no government intervention, no nothing. It's consumers and producers agreed. E1 here, right? Let me make this purple so it's easier to see. However, due to the tax imposed by the government, which led to a decrease in supply, it created this gap. The gap here is known as deadweight loss, and therefore we see that E1 is the socially optimal quantity produced, and because of the decrease in supply, which changes the equilibrium point, it leads up and it creates a gap. This gap, like I said, is known as deadweight loss. I hope you understand it. Oh, sorry, let me link this here for a bit. So if you look at the main graph, right? The main graph here. Let me highlight for you. This is a tax burden. This is consumer surplus. This is consumer surplus. This is producer surplus. And the holy grail of this question, this is deadweight loss, which is an economic inefficiency created by, in this situation, government intervention. Thank you. Hope my explanation made sense to you. Bye-bye.